So my claim today is that people that listen to music and sing in the car are worse drivers. There are research that supports that if you sing and drive at the same time or do either or, you are tending to be more distracted. And so there's statistics that prove this, and from the Center for Cognitive Brain Imaging at Carnegie Mellon University on the BreaksOnFatalities.com website, they said that brain power used while driving decreases by 40% when a driver listens to conversation or music. So that includes talking as well. And also from the AtlanticCities.com website, though driving with no music may be the most attentive drivers, the researchers found that little difference in impairment between drivers singing to music and those just listening to music. So if you're going to be listening to music while you drive, you might as well sing along. So both actually are just as distracting, so if you're singing or if you're just listening along. Secondly, I'd like to quote Dr. Scott B. He's a doctor and psychologist at Cleveland Clinic, and he said, as you might guess, driving performance changes when you're listening to music and singing. You actually tend to slow down. And also, that includes fast-paced music. You might think you're going faster than you are, but you're actually going slower. And he also said, in today's society, we need to be more attentive as drivers. One thing drivers commonly do if you're in a rainstorm or snowstorm, people typically want to reduce stimulation, so they'll turn off the radio in order to pay more attention. That's smart, and maybe as a culture we need to do that a bit more, particularly in driving conditions where there's lots of pedestrians, potential distractions, and those sorts of things. And if you're listening to music or singing along, just try to notice if you're speeding up or slowing down to the speed of the music you're listening to. And although singing in the car is dangerous, listening to music is just as bad. And with an Australian study, it finds that singing requires more mental activity, taking your attention off the road. Researchers tested that singing and driving abilities of 21 people by using a driving simulator. The singing drivers were less likely to notice peripheral distractions, and their speeds varied more. So that means while you're driving through a construction zone or like a school zone, you tend to not notice if there's a kid on the sidewalk crossing the street. And with that factual data, that was performed in Australia, but Australia doesn't have as many construction zones as we do. And so, in conclusion, to be a better driver, you should turn off your radio, and while you drive, you should be more attentive to the road.